All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Rangetalk podcast. My name is Isaiah.
And Boaz.
And today, we're going to be talking about some interesting topics, some Airsoft hot takes, because let's be honest here, what's a Christmas celebration without some disagreement among the relatives? A fight, if you will.
The family fight, yeah. I mean, it ain't the holidays unless you're brawling over the dinner table,
There's always some drama going on. You know what it's like. So we're going to be going back and forth, agreeing, disagreeing, whether or not we truly believe these. We'll leave these up to your interpretation or not. But why don't we get right on into it? Boaz, I have something interesting to say, and that is tracers aren't worth it at all. You're better off just getting a flashlight.
No, I disagree. I think tracers.
Why did I see that coming?
No. I think tracers are pretty useful.
Don't get me wrong, tracers look very, very cool. But what exactly does a tracer offer other than aesthetics that a flashlight doesn't?
Well, I think in the competitive scene, tracers are a requirement because it allows refs to see your hits. So I think in those kind of more fast-paced settings, I think having a tracer unit is very useful from a referee game control standpoint.
True,
but I would say personally, what I use, because I think I have one tracer unit. I have one tracer unit, but I like to use tracer units just because it's way easier just to see the BB where it goes. I think if you use a flashlight in an indoor setting, that has its advantages too. I run a flashlight and a tracer unit, both for different things. But it's just easy to immediately track where the BB is going if you don't have time to aim down your sights. But also in a team environment, I think a tracer is very useful because you could actually show your teammates where you're shooting at. And so what I like to do is, or what I want to eventually start doing with tracer units once our team gets more familiar with the concept, is mix tracer BBs with regular BBs. So every few rounds will be a tracer round, but not every round will be a tracer round. So we're not giving ourselves away.
No, I do understand that in the professional setting, they do indeed use tracer BBs. And again, for a controlled setting like that, it does kind of make sense. I think there are better ways to do it, honestly, but regardless, I think there are. However, how many airsofters are really in that high-speed actual professional competitive scene? I would say very, very few of us are actually in the professional setting like Speed QB. Most of us are just doing regular walk-on games, and even if we are playing competitively, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be using a flashlight over a tracer unit.
But I think a tracer unit is way more of a lower signature compared to a flashlight. If you use a flashlight in an indoor field, you're kind of broadcasting where you are. Tracer, yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, but it's way less brighter. It's not nearly as bright as a flashlight.
I will say that's up to the tracer unit.
You'd have to be really looking for that tracer BB to really see where it's coming from. As compared to a flashlight, you don't even need to be looking in the general direction. You'd be like, oh, there's someone there, because you just see this bright flash of light.
Don't get me wrong, it does, the disadvantages for both tracer units and flashlights. Yes, you are giving away your position, but again, that can be argued both ways. And while the flashlight is very bright, the disadvantage with a tracer unit is that it has a much further travel. So yeah, you might not be able to see in this one spot.
But they don't
you
glow.
Can easily trace back.
But they don't glow as bright as it goes the distance.
Tracer technology has gotten really good, and now we're looking at like Spitfire style tracer units that actually offer a muzzle flash.
The muzzle flash is just for the cool factor. You can easily disable that, but I'm just saying, just having that tracer BB, it's nowhere near as bright as a flashlight. Again, I think you could. Definitely, I think you should use both, because I use both, for different applications. But I think if you have to choose one or the other, I would rather choose in an indoor airsoft environment is to have a tracer unit.
I think flashlights have a much more wider practical application, very similar to tracer units. They can be used in a competitive setting, but if also in a milsim situation as well, most of the time you're not even going to be able to use tracer units.
Well, I think that tracer units, again, I think it'll, in a milsim environment, I think it's useful because not everyone's going to have night vision, and not everyone's going to, in a low light setting, going to be able to use night vision or whatnot, and not be able to really see in the dark. If you use a flashlight, you're kind of giving yourself away. Especially if the enemy team has night vision, you're lighting up a lighthouse. There's a beacon here. Shoot this bright light.
The enemy team has night vision too, so it's not like you really need to worry about giving your position away. They know where you're at.
No, but what I'm saying is, there's a difference, because you can still obfuscate yourself. You can still obscure yourself to where they have night vision. They still have to come and look for you. Whereas as soon as you shine that flashlight, they don't need to look for you anymore. They know exactly where you are. But in a milsim setting, I think having a tracer unit is useful because it allows your team to like know. So let's say like there's like an enemy movement kind of happening, you know, in the distance, and we're within range to shoot them. You know, like not everyone in your team is gonna have night vision, and so if you start shooting at them and they're like, what are you guys shooting? Where are you shooting at? If they're able to see, again, like one thing I want to do is just mix a few tracer BBs in with regular BBs, so that way every like few shots you just get one tracer BB to fly. So if your teammates are paying attention to you, like, hey, where are you shooting? They see the direction of the tracer. Okay, shoot there. You know. So now you're able to add more guns into the airsoft gunfight.
It's not like I'm saying if there's no like use for it. Again, that does sound like a really cool idea. I know we've talked about this before, but the downside is that we go to events like Milsim West, they're not going to be assigning tracer BBs, and you can't bring your own BBs on.
I mean, but that's a very specific niche. But the world of Milsim is way bigger than just Milsim West.
True, but again, being able to do a Milsim event like that is a lot more accessible than playing in a professional setting where you're required to have tracer BBs. So, you know.
No, I'm not saying that it's a requirement, but what I'm saying is like in a larger Milsim, or you know, there's a lot of bigger scale events that also happen that take place at night. You know, like there's a lot of games that go on at night. Doesn't necessarily have to be Milsim West. You know, there's many other Milsim or Milsim-esque organizations out there that run events. You know, and I think that it's useful because because what we noticed is that in the real firearms world, like airsoft is always trickling down. You know, from the real firearms community.
Whatever's cool in the firearms world goes there.
Exactly. And right now, like night vision, like it's been in vogue for the past like 5 years. You know, and now it's trickling down into airsoft, and you know, a lot more airsofters are starting to gain access to night vision. You know, like. So that's a lot more common. I think maybe like 10, 15 years ago, you know, if we're playing airsoft and like at night, yeah, everyone's gonna be running a flashlight. Like no one's gonna have night vision. But now like some people are starting to have night vision, and also you get a lot of newer players who are playing that don't have night vision, or just even experienced players. You know, like me and Isaiah for a long time, like we didn't have night vision, but. Just having that in general, just having one player, maybe like a support gunner, like LMG, or someone who has like night vision, you know, loaded a couple tracer BBs into the magazine, just shooting, you know, and then every like 10, 15 rounds, just one tracer BB gets sent down range. You know, now I know where they're shooting at. Now I don't need to light up my flashlight, just in that general direction. Screw everything in that general direction. You know, like I think it's very useful.
Again, I would like to see trace units being used at a Milsim setting, right? And I think depending on the event you go to, yeah, it could be useful. But again, I just think for the average player, just having regular white light is much more useful. Having a flashlight is going to be a lot more practical. Because again, you get into an engagement, it's not like you're trying to be like super sneaky at the end of the day. They know you're there. The enemy has night vision as well. I think that just honestly entirely negates the need for trace units.
Yeah, but when it comes to the actual regular like lay person, just regular person playing airsoft, like not even in a Milsim settings. If you're just an indoor CQB player, I think you need to have a tracer unit before you get a good flashlight. Like,
well, even then, if you go to regular, you want to talk about regular walk-on games, let's go to regular like outdoor game, right? Go to regular outdoor field. If they have some indoor sections, maybe some buildings that you can clear out, there's not always going to be like electronics going in there like lights. What, am I supposed to go ahead and change out a magazine that's loaded specifically with tracers?
Well, if you're just going to walk on play outdoors, you don't need either. You don't need either a flashlight or a tracer unit, because majority of the times, 9.5 times out of 10 at an outdoor field, they're just gonna do day games. They're not gonna play at night. Like it's kind of a safety hazard to play at night. Like a lot of these outdoor fields, that their insurance is not gonna cover that. So, you know, like if you play outdoors, you don't need any of that. You don't need a flashlight, and you don't need a tracer unit because you're gonna be playing during the day.
I mean, I can say the same thing about indoors though. Like again, they're not gonna do constantly doing like lights out games entirely. They're gonna be some ambient light.
No, yeah, but it's still a lower light environment compared to outdoor fields.
But you can still walk around and play just like normal, like fine. You don't need to.
But it's nowhere near as well lit as an outdoor field. Like you still, yeah, I think you can still benefit from a flashlight or a tracer unit because both will work in an indoor field. You bring that to an outdoor field, you turn your tracer on, like it's not gonna work. You turn your flashlight on in an indoor field, it's not gonna work, bro. Like it's a totally different environment. So that's what I'm saying. That you could still see, like it's not like you're doing a lights out game where it's pitch dark and you need a flashlight. It's like no, like they're still reasonably like ambient lit. It's a little dimmer than usual, so a tracer unit will work. It's just easier than aiming, so you can get quick reaction shots, and also you could. It's a lower signature move to track your BBs and stuff, as opposed to having a flashlight.
Again, I just think that having a flashlight is more versatile. You can use it pretty much anywhere, and a lot more situations compared to a trace unit, which seems very, very, very specific. But I don't think we're gonna agree on this. So
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
That's what, again, it's just like every family get together. All right, next one though. Next point that I want to go ahead and actually, if you wanted to go ahead and bring this one up yourself, I know you had an idea.
About what?
Breaking the immersion. We had it written down here for a second.
All planned out. Okay. All right. Well, actually, before we get to that, why don't we talk about another hot topic about Tokyo Marui?
Okay.
Tokyo Marui.
Yes, the golden standard.
The golden calf of Airsoft. Ay.
I just like that expression, the golden cap. No, it is the golden standard though, and it's for a reason. I believe that the TM standard should honestly still be adhered to this day.
Oh, absolutely not.
There you go.
Absolutely
Another
not.
disagreement.
Absolutely not.
No, okay, again, the TM standard has been around for a long time. Yes. Is it a little older? Yes. But that's kind of what we want. That's kind of the whole point, to be able to build off of that more and more and more and more. Like, again, it makes it a lot easier for players to understand, have a better, database of like, okay, what can I do to this airsoft gun, right? As opposed to, yeah, I get the idea and benefits of quote unquote innovation, but in reality, you can innovate all you want, it's still gonna have problems, and is there anything as far as external parts or internal parts made for it? No, you're still gonna be stuck. You're gonna be cucked out of like any sort of potential you had with that.
You know what? It's getting really heated. I'm taking the jacket
Okay,
off.
there you
Jacket's
go.
coming off. Jacket's coming off. Tokyo Marui is such an archaic system, bro. Like it was like
Archaic.
Yeah, dude. Like your standard AEG, it's literally just an RC car. It's literally just it's a completely wrong application, and you're limited. The reason, like, I believe that we are in a technological dark age when it comes to airsoft. Like nothing really has been changing the game. We've just been incrementally improving upon the existing design, the Tokyo Marui design. And I personally believe we're kind of at the limit. We're kind of at the limit of how well you can make a Tokyo Marui gearbox or a Tokyo Marui system like good. And I think we've kind of come to a crossroads in the industry. It's like, okay, well, like, what do? Do we just like wait for everyone else to catch up to this, like to where we are, or do we break off and try something else? You know, have we outgrown the system? Personally, I believe we outgrew the system. I think we need some more engineering-minded people to come and improve, or just improve the airsoft system in general, the AEG platform in general. But it's your fault. It's your fault, the consumers.
It's just pointing at
This is your fault. All right, this is the reason why we haven't innovated, because everyone just wants TM standard stuff, all right, and everyone is fine living in this technological dark age. We punish innovation in airsoft, okay? We punish the people that take risks. This is your fault.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, like, again, it's, yeah, you can blame them all you want, but you're also kind of contributing to this as well. You're the type of person that doesn't want to have to open up a gun in the first place. Don't you want a gun that, like, again, all airsoft guns, at some point or another, are going to need maintenance. That's just a fact of it. Get over it, grow up.
Maintenance is maintenance.
Right? So don't you want something that's going to be a little easier to access?
Thank you for proving my point. Thank you for, like, I don't want to open up the gun. Just build something that is good and reliable, and it just works in its own ecosystem really well. I don't want to have to upgrade. The fact that if I have to open up a gun and upgrade it, that's admitting defeat. I'm admitting that this gun sucks or is not performing well, and that it has to be improved upon.
Have you ever had to upgrade it? Have you ever had to do anything to your KWAs?
No.
And what system are they using?
They're using their own system.
No, they're using their own system. It's not using a version 2 gearbox?
No. There's a lot of, like, I'm still using the original KWA ERG. That's like way less version 2 compatible than the Ronin T10 or the new Q10 now.
I thought you said you loved the current KWA stuff.
I do, but the thing is...
And it is still using the TM original design. Interesting.
No, it's compatible with TM parts. They never claim that they're using a TM version 2 because they're not. It's a different spec. You can't drop in a TM gearbox into a KWA, like, it's not gonna work. So I'm just saying, the reason why I love KWA so much, as much as I do, is that they literally just have a team of engineers to try to create a new system. And I think they're kind of scared. Just talking to them, I think they're kind of scared of walking too far down the line, down far the path where people don't want to buy their stuff. Because if they veer too far away from the traditional gearbox, no one's gonna have faith in it. No one's gonna want. But honestly, if KWA can just make a system, it doesn't even have to be a gearbox. If they can find something that's like not like an AG that doesn't require a gearbox, or whatever, and if it works well within its own ecosystem, I'd be happy.
No, again, like I understand. Again, I've said it before. I understand why companies would want to innovate, but at the same time, too, that's kind of terrifying if you think about it. Think about a lot of companies that have come up with their own spec design. Whether it be gas blowback, whether it be AG. I'm not even talking about gearboxes anymore. Like just anything overall. The minute they come out with other stuff, I see, yes, it may perform great out of the box, but for how long? What exactly is the turnaround time before something starts to wear down? That's always going to be a question.
The lifespan.
What is the lifespan of something before anything starts to break down? And it's cool if you make it proprietary as long as you come out with a ton of parts that are available for it. When have we ever seen a new system come out where simultaneously you also get an aftermarket support to keep it alive?
KWA.
I don't know.
No. If you call KWA and you need a specific OEM
why isn't it
replacement
available
part,
in regular retail stores then? Why is
because
that
retail stores don't want to buy that stuff. It's like
we have been wanting to carry their stuff, but they don't want to give it out.
It's too specific. So again, like I respect KWA for having their own ecosystem. I don't want to name any names. But there's other manufacturers out there that make completely proprietary guns.
Oh, we can say
and they don't. No, I don't want to name any names. But there are very proprietary guns out there that exist made by other manufacturers that they don't have OEM support, right? Like that's first and foremost. So again, I respect KWA because I have a history with them where I would call them, I would email them, like, hey, like I have this part that's broken on my ERG, or this part on my like gas blowback KMP9 or my KWA MP7 that needs to be replaced. And I just call them, they have the part, or they tell me, oh yeah, it's gonna take a couple days for the part to come in, and I can do an OEM parts swap. So I don't ever really have to worry about my gun going down or like my gun wearing out its lifespan, and I'm like, oh shoot, like how am I gonna fix these parts because they're all proprietary? Like that I've never had that issue with KWA because of their amazing customer support.
Okay, but let's assume that's the good side, right? You've had nothing but good experiences. Okay, great, that's awesome. You can at least admit that not every company that does come out with the proprietary systems is like that. Even you have to admit that.
Yeah, but
so on the opposite end of the spectrum, a person, and because we've seen this all the time with customers that come in the storefront, where they invest into a proprietary system, and unfortunately, they didn't have a healthy ecosystem. They didn't have all the parts on demand, or if they did, it was a part that is prone to fail time and time after again, very soon and very quickly. So yeah, you can easily get the part, sure, maybe. But again, you're gonna have to constantly be opening it up over and over again.
I think there's a lot of companies that shouldn't really be in that space of making.
Agreed. That's something we can at least agree on.
There's that. But I will say this. For example, G&G. Oh my goodness, G&G with their gas blowback platform. Oh my, game changing.
It's good. It's really good.
It's fantastic. But you know what? It's all your fault. It's your fault because you guys all hate it. So like the GTP9, SMC9, even their high cappers, man, they're so incredibly gas efficient. You don't even have to break apart the gun to adjust the hop. Like innovative stuff, actually innovative stuff. Their gas blowback M4s, MGCR. I have never felt more regret in my life than buying a Tokyo Marui MWS.
And to be fair to G&G, I am going to applaud them for one thing. They did come out with replacement nozzles, so if you wanted to go ahead and bump that FPS, that's cool that they included it.
They have the OEM support, which is great. Yeah,
but nothing else.
Yeah, no, but honestly, that's all I need. That's all I need, dude. The G&G MGCR, that thing was shooting on par with my MWS out of the box.
It was.
I had to do aftermarket upgrades to my MWS.
Again, I do think specifically to the G&G, it could have been better. The consistency could have been improved. Thankfully, again, I do like it when other companies, want to step up and actually offer a aftermarket support for it. Unicorn Airsoft is going to be coming out with buckings and inner barrels for it, so that's great. But again,
I cannot wait. I think if they drop the barrel and bucking, oh man, it's over for me, bro. I'm just gonna buy. I might end up buying that G&G.
But I do hope that it does become successful, right? Because at the end of the day, they made a very bold move with not making a TM spec, right? You could have had a really good system and just maybe have the barrel and hop-up system be TM spec, but they chose not to.
Yeah, but see, the aftermarket needs to follow suit. I honestly think with the amount of innovation that G&G has done with their gas blowback system, that should just be the new standard. I'm really hoping that other companies will step up. For example, GTP9, right?
Yeah.
biggest gripe with GTB9. I would have picked it up then and there, right immediately, if they had an optics ready slide. If someone could come up with an optics ready slide, I'm sold, bro. I'm sold. You know, SMC9 already, like it's a fantastic, it's a fantastic gas blowback, like pistol caliber carbine. I honestly, G&G, if you made the MXC9 into gas blowback, dude, I'd pick that up in a heartbeat. If they use the same gas blowback system, that technology into it, it's a done deal for me, dude. Like again with the gas blowback M4, if you made a gas blowback 308, it's over.
My biggest
over,
thing is
bro.
just also like accessibility as well, right? Where we have a system where it's tried and true, we know how it works, and we have a wealth of parts out there and knowledge from other tech.
And cloners. So all you cloner brands out there, all right, you know what to do. Start cloning the G&G system.
Tell you what, I will rescind that entire opinion if we can see more of a movement from cloner companies or just aftermarket companies in general coming out with support parts for different platforms outside of the TM specification. If we see a mass movement, a shift and concentration towards that, because I think the TM standard isn't going away anytime soon, especially for beginners. I think that's going to be the easiest thing to get
also,
into.
like, honestly, I think like Tokyo Marui has just gotten so complacent because they know, like, oh, whatever we make, that's going to be the standard, you know. So
I think in some areas, yes. I think their gas blowback pistols in general, yes, have become stagnant. But again, I'm still in love with the recoil shock system. Even though the system itself isn't new, newer models coming out for that system, yeah, man. Again, I look at the Mark 46 at next generation recoil shock, and I just see nothing but innovation as someone who runs 249s for years. I look at that and I'm like, yeah, this is where we all should be.
No, yeah, I mean, if that becomes new standard for AEG technology, then maybe. But I'm just saying, like, Tokyo Marui hasn't really made a new design like AEG, like not like I don't really count the NGRS as like an AEG, like that's like its own thing, you know. But like they haven't really innovated whereas it comes to like an accessible, you know, like the common man airsoft gun. They like they're still using a version 2 gearbox or whatever gearbox. They're not moving past that.
Interesting. Okay, I think again we kind of maybe somewhat agree there. I think we have some points that we both agree on in that regards. But again, another agree to disagree type of situation.
Again, I don't know why it's the standard, because at the end of the day, TM designs all their guns to meet with the Japanese spec. All right, the rest of the world, we're shooting at way higher compression, way higher velocity. Like whatever they design, whatever Tokyo Marui design is like, it's not meant for us anyway. So I don't know why we're using it as a standard. Like it blows my mind.
Moving forward, there's another little hot take, another little tidbit of something. This is kind of strange for me to argue, but I'm gonna go and take it. You guys, talking about all you viewers out there, you don't want other airsoft platforms other than the M4. You don't. That's the only thing you want. That's the only thing the market wants.
Well, no.
I know it's hard for us.
No. I have to disagree on that.
I have to disagree.
No. Because I do.
Not counting pistols.
I do want other platforms. Like, for sure, 100%, I do want other platforms. I think, for me, I begrudgingly go back to the M4 just because how flooded and saturated the market is with the M4s. Like, there's a cool-looking M4 coming out. Like, every week, bro. Like, you know, first it's like, you know, you got Xionarms coming out, their cool M4s, and then also now we have the MDC4, you know, and then KWA comes out with an M4, and then, you know, like, all these other brands, these are cool-looking M4s, you know, like, I mean, you know, like,
here waiting for the G3
hey, I have cool M4s, but I don't have that cool M4. You know, so like, I kind of understand that. And there's so many, the M4 platform is so versatile. Like, you could be building M4s all day and not get tired of it. You know, like right now, I'm on a Honey Badger train right now. You know, now I'm kind of on like a Rattler. You know, like a murder gun Rattler kind of little theme. You know, small gun, big suppressy. You know, vibe right now. You know. You got SPR builds, you have your 10.5, and you could go on, and there's so many variants, you know, like it almost feels like you're getting a new platform.
No, like and I feel like most people want that in the first, because you said it yourself, it's the most versatile platform, so I think more and more people want that. I don't think people, as much as they might say, oh yeah, I want these other platforms to exist, I want, you know, X95 to come out, I want
the X95 to come out.
I'm gonna be real with you. You say that, and I want to believe you want it, because I'm always hopeful for it, but I seriously doubt if one came out, you would actually buy it.
No, I would buy it.
I don't know. We'll yet to see about it.
I would buy it. No, I would buy it.
Everyone says that they want all these other unique platforms to exist out there, right? Everyone, quote unquote, pines for the days where more platforms were readily available. And guess what? I was one of the guys that worked so damn hard to get Classic Army FALs to come into the actual US, right? To come back to the US, come back to GI, because we were the only ones that had them for a while. And what did they do? A lot of them, some of them are actually still just sitting. They haven't sold. We didn't order a ton of them. Some of them sold
but
out.
what kind of FAL?
This is supposed to be the CA58, so the SA58 version. So the OSW, that one still is. Oh my goodness!
My gosh!
I'm just gonna hold it from now. Like the OSW, like the shorter barrel version, is still available, but the longer one actually sold out first.
Really?
Yeah. And we
still have the OSW?
We still have the shorter one, yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it. I'm gonna have to pick it up. I'm gonna pick it up.
But no, like it didn't move as fast as we wanted it to, and I was like, and I kept hearing on DMs from everyone, oh, bring back the FAL, bring back the FAL. And we bring it back.
My brother in Christ, the FAL is available.
It's literally here.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And they're like, I'll pick it up in a little bit. I'm like, what do you mean you'll pick it up in a little bit? That's the thing. People don't actually want other unique platforms out there. They don't move.
Well, I think also due in part because I think it's just more expensive in general just to get into a more exotic platform.
Not even really.
No. Hear me out.
Magazines. That's the only thing.
No, hear me out. Okay, so like Classic Army SA58, you know, like that. You know, it's at a certain price point, right? So like, So if you had a budget, would you buy that? Mm-hmm. Or would you buy like, let's say like a Lancer Gen 3 plus a red dot sight, plus a 5-pack of like the Lancer high speed mags, you know, or would you just buy the SA58 by itself? You know, like it's more expensive. Like it is what it is. You know, like would you rather buy a longer M4 or an M16 versus let's say like an SVD, which costs like maybe 2 M16s that you're looking at? You know, like more exotic platforms are just gonna be more expensive, period, because they're produced in smaller quantities, you know, and manufacturers have to make up the cost of, you know, all the engineering, all the design work, and then paying for all the machining and the tooling and the molds that have to be made, which cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know. So like, it's gonna be more plus your gear, right? Like, for someone that's coming from an M4, now you want an FAL. Right? Buy mag pouches that are going to fit the FAL mags. You know, if you have all M4 mag pouches, then like we said, buy mags. Where are the mid caps, by the way? Isaiah's. Where are the mid caps?
I brought them in. Here's the only thing that kind of made me think, like, okay, there's a little bit of hope for it, because the minute that we brought the mid cap magazines in, 2 days they're sold out. All of them, all of our quantity is sold out. But I'm convinced that it's just everyone that currently owns an FAL that's been waiting for so long to get mid caps, myself included. Yeah. I only got 2.
Yeah, where are the mid caps? I said, bring more mid caps.
Bring more mid caps. I'm working on it.
I will buy the OSW FAL when the mid caps come in.
When the mid caps come in.
Yeah. So, but anyway, like so now the mags become issue, and then you have to, you know, find accessories, and like not everything is compatible with like your M4 accessories. For example, like the OSW, you might have to buy some aftermarket rail attachment to like mount optics, or like to mount other accessories and attachments that you want on it. So inherently, it's going to cost way more, which I think that's the reason why everyone just buys an M4 at the end of the day.
Honestly,
I can get this exotic platform that I've been eyeing for a long time, or I can get my second choice, which is another cool M4.
I think that is a factor for sure, but I think one of the biggest reasons too is also just the sort of misconception. Like again, a lot of people come into Airsoft from like video game logic, right? Yeah. They want to be able to have whatever gun platform they want. They want it to be able to have the exact same level of customization. Yeah. And that's just not the case when you have a different platform compared to the AR. The AR is not going to be beat in terms of customization externally or internally. So yeah, while you have an FAL that uses a version 3 gearbox, second most common gearbox, you can easily find parts for it, right? In terms of just modularity, it's just not going to be the same as an AR, and it's not going to be a platform that's as heavily marketed, as heavily invested into.
Oh, bro, when I get that OSW, I'm buying like a Midwest Industries like FAL Shorty M-Lock rail on that thing.
Honestly, I can't wait. I want to be able to run FAL with something. I'm tired of running an FAL alone.
I'm buying, dude. I'm gonna buy like a Picatinny like end cap receiver thing for it, so I can run like a folding MCX stock, and then I'm gonna paint it the Rhodesian, the
baby poop camo.
Baby poop camo. Oh, it's gonna be insane.
Absolutely. I want that to be more of a thing, and I'm just convinced that no one out there truly wants that. No one truly has the patience in order to run anything other than an AR. I think patience is a big thing. They're like, oh, I want to run this, but I want to immediately have all these different attachments, have all these different accessories for it, when in reality, it's just not a widely supported platform as it used to be.
No, but here's the problem. But then everyone complains, oh, it's just another M4.
Yeah, it's just
and then everyone, you have the gall to complain, to complain about M4s. My brother in Christ, you keep buying the M4s.
Dude,
But,
I hate seeing that on our comments so much. Why do you only sell M4s? Because that's what you asked for!
Let me look up your customer information. Oh, actually, you bought an M4 from us last week. I wonder why you're complaining.
Why are you complaining?
Yeah. And then when some other manufacturer has like the bravery, the courage to come out with some other exotic, it's that version 2.
Where's the HPA parts for it?
Yeah, I'm not buying it. So
What do you want?
Can't win. Never win. Can't win.
Okay, so another thing I wanted to go ahead and hash out with you was, your gun doesn't suck. It's just you, boys. I know like a lot of times you're complaining about like the TM standard, it's have to open up. It doesn't actually suck. It's just you. And I think that goes for everyone out there. If anyone out there thinks that, again, my gun just sucks, I'm not able to get the kills, it's not a gun issue. That's a skill issue.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you.
Oh, well, it's actually surprising. I wasn't expecting that during this fighting one.
No.
Yeah, how can you argue that?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, sometimes it does suck. Sometimes it does suck. Like, even at BB War, sometimes, like, I'm with my Kidboy Eve 9, and decent range, decent accuracy, but sometimes I just get outgunned by someone with an HPA gun. Like, at the end of the day, like, there are some systems that might be objectively like longer range or more accurate than others, but I don't think that should be the be-all end-all. Like, because at the end of the day, if we all had the same, like, imagine if everyone ran a Polar Star set up exactly the same way.
Sure.
On the same BBs, we're just gonna be in the back of the field with each other, just lobbing BBs at each other. Like, I think.
And even then, in that situation, you're right. Like, even if everyone had the same setup, there's still only going to be one winner at the end of the day anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, yeah. Like,
what are you gonna say? Like, when you lose,
I'm here to play Airsoft to have fun. So I think everyone's a winner. So, like,
no, I mean,
if you have fun, you win.
But for like the game's sake itself,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, if we're doing a battle royale type situation, we're all with the exact same gun, right? We all start off the exact same way. We're all starting off with the same setup. At the end of the day, at the end of the match, there's still going to be like a winning team or a winner at the end of the day, right? So it's like, what are you gonna say? Like, when you get mad, like, oh, he's using a better setup. No, absolutely not. He's using the exact same thing you are. Right? Again, I think using that is a real big crutch to yourself, and using that as just kind of an excuse saying, oh yeah, well, his gun's better. There's ways to get around even the most like built out setup out there. There's ways that you can outskill another player. Even if you were equipped with something as, like low performance as say even a spring pistol. There's a way to do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think you can get kills with anything. Like, I've literally gotten kills with like trading guns with a newer player. I give him my kit away, he gives me whatever he's running that day, and like I sometimes I have to just hop up real quick. I still get kills with it, like it's not a I don't think really the gun itself is what makes you a better player. Like it's the same argument with anything. Like it's the same argument with like for example, like when it comes to like my filmmaking career or whatever, right? Like, so like, you could tell who knows what they're talking about, who doesn't. It's like, oh man, if only I had that camera. I was like, no, dude, like that doesn't make you a better storyteller. Like that doesn't make you a better cinematographer. That's not going to make you a better image. You have to understand how to use it. So like having a good gun is like the icing on the cake. Like if you already understand how to play the game of Airsoft, and if you know like when to move, when to do cover, how to
good grasp on tactics.
Yeah. Good grasp on like your own strategy as a player. Then having that better gun is like it'll add to that. Like it's kind of like the equivalent of.
I think you're thinking about like like directors or like movie makers, right? Just being able to have you can have the most like expensive equipment in the world, but you can still turn out a flop.
Oh yeah. I mean, just go to the movie theater. It's all over the place. But also like what I'm saying is like it's like the equivalent of like let's say like you give some random person like a handmade Japanese like chef's knife or whatever, right? Versus like I don't know, Gordon Ramsay. Like the chef's knife isn't gonna really make the difference here. Like it's not gonna make you any better of a cook or a chef. It's you the player who determines that, and then whatever equipment or whatever gear you have is just. It'll just add to your capabilities.
Don't get me wrong, it can definitely help and it can enhance. Gear's the same thing as well, right?
Yeah.
Gear can definitely like enhance your gameplay as well, like having a comfortable plate carrier or a chest rig that's optimized for your style of play. Yes, absolutely, that is definitely going to be a benefit, but it's not going to be the be-all end-all, or that's not going to be the thing that makes or breaks, your gameplay. At the end of the day, it's not going to give you a significant tactical advantage over your enemy player at all.
Yeah.
No, and I think though, that kind of leads us to our last one. This
Well,
is
I want to also add to that,
Okay,
becoming
alright.
a better player, physical fitness.
physical
Fitness.
Well,
I'm just gonna say it right now. Say it right
Okay,
now.
alright.
Okay? Like, if you when the ref blows whistle and you're running down the field, if the enemy player runs faster than you and gets a better spot on the field, you're gonna get shot. Like if you if you only if you could only perform really well for the first 2 games, and then the rest of the day you're just being sluggish and lazy and your gun's heavy, and you're not as alert, that's physical conditioning. If you want to be a better player, I would highly encourage you. I think airsoft practice is cringe, but the real practice, it should be you should be at least minimum, you should be walking every day. You should be running a couple times a week, and you should be, if you can, do some kind of strength training. If you can't afford a gym membership, or if you don't have weights at home, you can easily just do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, body weight exercises, body squats. All the physical conditioning is going to help you become a better player, because airsoft is actually a very physical game, and then I think people who cop out and say, "Oh, I wish I had a better gun," they're like, "No, dude, you need to get fit."
well, I will disagree about the airsoft training. I don't think it's necessarily cringe, because we've done that. Spoilers, we've actually done that as a team before.
No. But that's more of us. It's more of a team building exercise. How to flow together as a team, especially when it comes to CQB. That's fine. But
I think for the overall
point
point of just being in better shape is going to help you be a better player. I would have to agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
I won't fight you on that
Yeah.
one, because I have seen it as well, especially a lot of guys that want to get into the LMG game specifically.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't realize that, hey, we're serious when we say that LMGs can weigh quite a bit, and while you might be able to do okay at first, try carrying that for several hours of the day, or just for a regular match without being too tired. That is conditioning. You definitely need a little bit more strength training in order to be able to be competitive with it and be effective, because no one wants to see their LMG user just barely hanging onto their LMG. They're not running, they're not being aggressive, they're not holding down any position, they're just very lazy, lethargic, they don't want to move up. It's you're not using it to its advantage. You give the LMG to the guy that's going to move up with you, that's going to be aggressive and get as many stack as many bodies as possible. That's who you give it to, the most aggressive player.
Yeah, dude. I will tell you from personal experience. The times that I've been physically training the hardest, running the most, going to the gym the most. When I play airsoft, it's a night and day difference between because of my personal my work schedule and stuff. I might not be able to work out as often. So when I don't work out as often and I play airsoft versus when I do and I play airsoft, night and day difference. Night and day difference.
No, 100%, I would agree with that. And if anyone out there, we're not trying to tell you, again, you need to look a certain way to play airsoft, you need to weigh a certain amount. No, none of that. Just do a little bit of strength training, do a little bit of conditioning, right? Treadmill, lift a little bit of weights, go to the gym. Even if you're just going a couple times a week, I would say that's going to be a massive help.
The goal, if you don't work out, if you want to be a better player, the goal is run 1 mile without walking.
There you go.
Okay, that's the goal.
That's
so
a good one.
build up to that. Run 1 mile without walking.
Lift your own body weight.
Yeah, and lift your own body weight. So I want to say maybe do if you could do 3 sets of 10 push-ups to start with, or
it's pretty good.
Yeah, or 3 sets of 10 sit-ups to start with, or doing 3 sets of 5 pull-ups maybe. Those are some goals to work up to.
No, absolutely. But I don't really think that one was too much of a hot take. Was there any other hot takes that you had before we close this one?
Oh, that's something very special.
Okay, I'm a little nervous
Erupt
now.
in a brawl.
Okay. I'm interested. All right, what is your spicy hot take then? What is going to make me want to brawl you?
Okay. So it has to do with just the game of airsoft and how it's played. Because I think airsoft, when it was introduced recreationally, it was kind of following the footsteps of paintball.
Sure.
So it's you get shot once, you're out. Doesn't matter where, get shot once, you're out.
It's a golden standard. It's a good rule.
Yeah. One kill. I don't have a problem with that rule set actually for most games, but I'm saying that I'm thinking for a higher level of play is call it when you feel it. Submission gameplay. So sometimes I think
Are you ready to die on that hill?
yes. So I think that just getting shot once, let's say I get shot in the fingertip, if we're simulating a real gunfight or whatever, if you want to play pretend a real gunfight, you get shot in the finger, you're not gonna die, dude. And actually, in most real gunfights, you don't die in one shot. People get zippered up and they're still alive, you know? So like,
no, I understand
yeah.
that, but we were all in agreement. This is the standard that, again, we decided to agree to this rule because that opens up Pandora's box, man. You allow that, again, you really gonna trust people to go ahead and be like, oh, well, you know, I only got shot in the finger.
Well,
so it's
I'm not
okay.
saying, again, so I think for public matches, I think the one hit, one kill is fine.
Okay,
I think that's fine.
But I'm saying, I hate you a little less now.
No, but I think that if we can have like either smaller organizations or people that are not bad actors to engage in this higher level of play. I call it the submission type of game. You know, like I think it's way better. Like for example, like if I use like other combat sports as an example, right? Like for example, like jiu-jitsu, right? Like if you spar or do jiu-jitsu with other people, you know, like you get them in a lock, you know, like you don't stop until the other person taps out, right? Like even in MMA or whatever, like it's not like, oh, like I landed a punch on your body, therefore like I win. Like that's not generally how it goes.
For boxing, it actually is. It's point system based.
Yeah, I know it's point system, but it's not like, oh, I landed one punch on your face, therefore I win. You know, I landed the punch first, therefore I win. Like no, like you usually there is some kind of submission system where the opponent submits and be like, all right, like I'm done. You know, so I think it causes a lot of negative reactions initially when I talk about it, because the first thing that comes to my mind is like, oh, like someone's gonna have like a 100 rounds per second Polar Star, and they're gonna full auto dump you, and you know they're just gonna just lay it on you. It's like, well,
because even
like
with the system we have now, people are still trying to get away with that. That is still something.
Yeah. I mean, but those are bad actors. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I was saying that in a smaller organization or like a smaller group of players that all know each other, there's no bad actors. I think this is a higher level of play. I think it'll definitely change the way you play. So again, another example, like if you are a less experienced, if you're a less experienced player, even like in like a martial arts or like a jiu-jitsu kind of like perspective, it's like, yeah, like they'll withstand chokeholds, like they'll get choked out, they'll like nearly black out before tapping out, you know? Whereas more experienced participants, you know, once they're in a certain bind, once they're in a certain lock, they're like, okay, like I can't get out of this, you know, like there's no point in me struggling because I'm not getting out of this. So they'll tap out way sooner. So more experienced participants actually tap out way sooner than the newer ones, you know. So in the airsoft context, right, like instead of you getting waiting to get like surrounded by enemy players and just getting shot in all directions, and you're cuffing it out, I can still play. I think eventually as you get more experience, you'll be like, okay, well, I got shot 3 times already, you know, like, and there's another guy at my other flank, like I can't, you know, that's so you call yourself out, you know, like I think that'll evolve the game and how you play.
Well, I think having it like moved from not a thing in a regular walk-on situation, but more of a smaller organization or smaller group, I think that might help. I don't think that's going to be like the answer to it all at the end of the day, right? You're going for, again, there's a couple things I want to point out. One, you're saying that you're trying to go for a more realistic approach towards the way the game itself is played, right? Because you're right. A lot of times, even with 5.56, there's a lot of cases where guys would get shot with 5.56 and they'd be like, oh, you know, they're still moving. Like,
yeah, there's people that get shot in the head and they're still like, oh,
right?
I got shot in the head.
That's definitely a thing. It's a recorded thing.
Yeah.
Highly recommend you look at it. It's very interesting. But, you know, in that situation, you know, there are guys that have other guns as well, right? Like, we'll play with DMRs, like 308 stuff. Does that mean one shot from a 308 is an automatic kill if it's a body shot?
No.
Compared to, well, that's the thing. Like, now we're getting into semantics. And how do we really regulate that?
No,
if at the end of the day,
you call it when you feel it. So,
and when you mean feel it, does it mean like, okay, like I felt something hit me, but it didn't hurt? Or are you talking about like, oh, we're just doing it until we literally submit because like, all right, I think, you know, this is a little bit too much pain for me to tolerate. Like,
yeah. So you could yeah. So I think you choose when you're out. So yeah, like if the pain is too much, then you can call yourself out, you know, or like eventually at some point, you know, like you're gonna be in a position where it's gonna be like a 1v5 scenario, you know, where like you're the last guy alive on your team and suddenly you're getting surrounded, you know, like eventually after you get a couple shots like from being surrounded, you'll know, hey, like I can't fight this.
But you're forgetting, like also another big part of it is too, like the gear, right? We like to look cool, we like to have cool gear. You'll even go to the extent where you'll run real plates in your stuff. you could honestly, theoretically, just keep getting hit in the plate carrier over and over again, and you're not going to submit because, again, you have a plate carrier. You didn't feel it, really.
Well, usually when I wear a plate carrier, it's the last place I ever get hit.
I know. Most of the time, even when we're most protected, it's always the spot where never...
You're not protected.
But still, to other people's experience, that can definitely be a thing where it's like, hey, I have, plenty of, coverage on my body. I'm not really getting hurt, so I'm just going to keep playing.
You know what? That adds for the immersion. The more armor you wear, the more up armor you are.
Oh, my God. Yeah, but then they never call it. That's the thing.
No, they will eventually. No, that's what I'm saying. They will eventually call it. It's like it's not like they're a juggernaut and they hit you once and you're out. It's like, no.
That's what this feels like. This feels like every player has the potential to be a juggernaut, and all they have to do is just wear more armor. Like, what's stopping people from?
But I think you have to play because see, the first time I played Airsoft, that's how we played. Mm-hmm. The first time we played Airsoft, that's how we played. It's like you call it when you feel it, And yeah, like it works. Like if you get shot enough and you're in a bad position, you call it. Like if I was out in the open in the woods, and my friends was like, well covered position, I barely even know where he's coming from because of my freaking paintball mask. Yeah, like eventually, like I get shot 5 times, I'll just call it because I'm like, dude, I can't fight back.
I don't know, man. It just feels like it's opening up the floodgates, and I don't know if
What floodgates? What floodgates?
I don't trust every other person to do it just because.
Who's every other person?
Right, in this hypothetical that you're putting with people that I know, even with people that I know, right? Yeah, like I could be shooting at them several times, but because so far away, right? If they don't feel, it didn't really hurt that much. It's like, bro, I'm literally shooting you 10 times. It kind of kills the immersion for me a little bit.
This is literally what they do for force on force training when it comes to like simunition and stuff. That's what they do. When SWAT teams and other organizations, like when they go into a shoot house, right, with the UTMs or whatever, yeah, the opposing force and even the SWAT guys, they don't die when they first get hit. So both sides get zippered. It's whoever gets. Usually the off 4 will give up. Because
usually
no, they'll give up because they're in a disadvantaged situation, right? You get the first guy on the team come around the corner. Maybe the off 4 shoots him on the side. That hurts. He moves out of the way, right? Gets on target. Starts laying hate on the off 4. Then the second guy comes in the room and starts lighting up. Then the third guy comes in and says, "Yeah, you're gonna give up." Because they'll experience. Off 4 members will give up way sooner because they know that they're in a disadvantaged situation. I think you have a misconception of what submission gameplay looks like. Like you might think it's just 2 dudes just laying into each other. I don't think that'll be the case because I think what's going to happen is once you get shot and you're in a disadvantaged position, you'll try to maneuver yourself into a more advantageous position. So you're fighting for position. It's a positional game rather than an accuracy game.
I'm not saying that it's impossible for this to be a thing. I just don't see it happening for 6mm plastic BBs.
I think it could happen. I think it 100%.
If we were playing
happen.
with 8mm, right, or if we could ever come out with 10mm stuff, right, that would be actually really cool. And I could see that. I would see a lot more incentive to be like, okay, I don't want to mess with this too much. I'm gonna call myself out.
I think it could happen, especially in a more CQB or urban environment. If we're just playing out in the woods or in the field, like open field, where the engagement distance can be opened up all the way to 200, 300 feet. It's not gonna work, But if you do it inside of a MOUT facility or a CQB facility or something like that, where you'll really feel it. I think it'll work.
I think honestly, I do like the idea of adding more immersion to the game itself. I do like that idea.
I don't think it's more immersion. I
think having a different, maybe instead of doing okay until you feel it. Food for thought. Maybe we do it like LARP rules, right? Maybe if you get shot in the finger, right, that hand is disabled. You can't really use that hand for the rest of the game.
I think that's too much to keep track of. That's what I'm saying. You just call it when you feel it.
You're still asking. It's the same principle though. You're asking to put a lot of trust in another player to honor that rule and not be a juggernaut. Same thing.
So it requires a certain kind of airsoft player.
I think which is why I'm saying that. Vague. I think it's just too vague.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not. It is. No.
Yes.
Yes. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How is it so vague?
Right, until you feel it. Again, and you
get to determine when you call yourself out. You get to determine that.
No. There has to be set rules that no matter how you because again, you're trusting a lot of people to have emotional maturity. I don't trust people.
Who's a lot of people?
The people who are playing this hypothetical.
They're not invited.
No one's invited. No one would be invited.
No, I'm saying the small organizations, and again, I think people will learn very quickly when to submit. So I think for you think that everyone's gonna stay a juggernaut. No, because eventually it'll come to a point where they're just getting zippered up so much that they're like, okay, like I don't have to keep staying alive for this long and get shot this many times. You know, like it's not that everyone. It's not like I agree with you. Maybe the first time people start playing submission style gameplay, everyone's gonna be a juggernaut. Everyone's gonna soak up a ton of rounds, and then round 2, round 3, I think people will be like, you know what? I don't think it's worth it to stay alive that long. You know, like if I get shot 3 or 4 times like in a room and I have nowhere to maneuver, like I might as well just die. You know, like you can't. You know, if you're outnumbered in a 5-to-1 situation. You know, you're the last guy alive. Like, I don't think that you're gonna tank it out for that long.
Again, I just think it requires a little bit too much trust in people. Again, I would trust you to do it. I would trust Cisco to do it. I would trust most of the guys here at GI and a lot of our close friends to do it. But there are some people, even on our own team, that I'll be honest, I don't want to say names because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I would not trust them with that style of game, with that level of like, hey, yeah, you just, that autonomy, right? You can call it when you feel like it. It's like, I don't know. I don't like the idea, and I think most people are going to be on my side.
I think they will learn. Like again, I totally understand where you're coming from because I don't think you've ever played that way before. But aside from maybe like a juggernaut mode, which is completely separate to what I'm talking about, I just think that you just haven't really played that way before. I have when I was growing up, and I'm telling you, it's surprisingly, it really works.
I don't know. I don't really think it'll work in a mass setting like that, though. I don't think so. And I'll be honest.
I never said in a mass setting. You're taking what I'm saying out of context.
No, you're saying in an organization, a small organization, which again still requires a lot of people to even want to do this for that.
Yeah, it's like at our local indoor fields. You know, they have full auto Fridays. They have no like full force Wednesdays or whatever.
Why not just relegate this only to like private games only?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's gonna be a smaller turnout. You know, like. I wouldn't want to go to a full auto Friday. Like, I have no interest in that. You know, like I have no interest in pistol only Mondays or whatever. Like I don't have it, so I'm not. So most people aren't going to show up. But I'm saying like if we do like a submission Saturday or like a submission Sunday, you know, where it's a different kind of game, I think people will really like to play it. I think it will draw a different crowd.
I tell you what, if it's relegated to a private game
for example, Project M1, they actually do something similar, called. Dang, what was it called? It basically duplicated or kind of like copied what Rainbow Six Siege does, where you have an offense team breaching inside the main facility, and you have a defensive team, and then defenders have time to set up defenses and stuff like that. IDMS, that's what it's called, IDMS.
Sure.
And so when you die, when you get shot, when you're hit, you're down but not out. So you can actually have teammates come and revive you, and when you're down, you can actually communicate with your teammates. You can call out. You know?
Yeah, it's not like dead players don't want.
Yeah. It's like hey, like the guy come around the corner, I got hit here, whatever. But the enemy player has the ability to keep shooting you while you talk. You know? So you might think, oh, they're gonna. But I think it drew a different crowd. Like it was actually a very successful event, smaller, obviously. But I think a lot of those players that ended up like talking, whatever, I think they learned to shut their mouth real quick.
Okay. No, I mean, again, I'm willing to try it. I actually genuinely am willing to try it before I completely shut it down entirely. You know, but again, I just think as long as it's relegated to a private session only and not something that we allow the general public to just play regular, or this is like the new standard. No, I would not want to see this as the new standard.
You are so dogmatic.
Or regardless of whatever it is you guys think, let us know down in the comments as well. Make sure to go out and place your orders. We still have a ton of items that are discounted right now. It's the holiday season. It's Christmas Eve by the time this goes up, so make sure you get your orders in while you can. You'll also be entered into the next Shopping Spree giveaway. It's $1,800 if you didn't know.
Holy moly.
Your order. Yeah, it's a big...
Can I join?
No, not for employees. Not for employees.
Conflict of interest.
All right, guys, let us know what you guys think, if you agree with any of these takes or not. My name is Isaiah.
And Boaz.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
Fight on the next one.
Fight you on the next one.